Ukrainian troops on Thursday destroyed a large number of Russian military equipment in a successful counteroffensive in Dobrapilya city in embattled Pokrovsk district in eastern Donetsk region. At least 9 Russian armored vehicles were destroyed and 4 more were damaged as the Ukrainian army's Azov forces repelled Russian attack with the combined use of drones and artillery strikes. Russian forces launched a large-scale mechanized assault on Okeratyne direction of Dobrapilya between 5:30 and 8 a.m. on October 16. The attack involving 22 armored vehicles was aimed at the capture of Shakov settlement. The largest Russian column consisting of 11 units of tanks and armored fighting vehicles advanced from the area of Malinivka around 7:50 a.m. The Russian attack was repelled by air assault troops, drone units of Azov brigade. Pokrovsk has long been one of the centers of the heavy battles, with Ukrainian forces trying to slow down Russian advances in the strategically important city. Being a key supply center, Pokrovsk serves as a critical junction where multiple highways and a major railway line linking key cities in eastern Donetsk are located. The General Staff of Ukrainian Armed Forces reported today that the Ukrainian army has liberated 182.8 square kilometers of territories and cleared 230.1 square kilometers of Russian sabotage and reconnaissance units during Dobrapilya operation in Pokrovsk. China poses a daily threat to Britain's security, the head of the country's domestic intelligence agency said Thursday, remarks that step up pressure on authorities to explain why the prosecution of 2 men charged with spying for Beijing collapsed just before they were due to stand trial. According to Associated Press, the government, opposition politicians, and prosecutors have traded blame over the failed criminal case as the United Kingdom tries to balance between challenging and engaging with the Asian superpower. Do Chinese state actors present a UK national security threat? The answer is of course yes, they do, every day, MI5 Director General Ken McCallum told reporters during a rare public appearance. He said his agency had intervened to stop a threat from Beijing as recently as the past week. McCallum said Beijing-backed meddling has included cyber espionage, stealing technology secrets and efforts to interfere covertly in UK public life. Academic Christopher Berry and parliamentary researcher Christopher Cash were charged last year with providing information or documents to China that could be prejudicial to the safety or interests of the UK. Then, last month, the prosecutors said the charges were being dropped. Director of Public Prosecutions Stephen Parkinson pointed at the government, saying officials refused to testify under oath that China posed a threat to national security at the time of the alleged offenses, between 2021 and 2023. Prime Minister Keir Starmer denies interfering, and late Wednesday the government published witness statements submitted to court by Deputy National Security Advisor Matthew Collins describing China as the biggest state-based threat to the UK's economic security, and saying Beijing's espionage activities harm the interests and security of the UK. McCallum called Britain's relationship with China a complex mix of risk and opportunity, and said MI5 agents detect and deal robustly with activity threatening UK national security.
State threats are escalating. In the last year, we've seen a 35% increase in the number of individuals we're investigating for involvement in state threat activity. That means espionage, including against our parliament, our universities, our critical infrastructure. But now, states are also consistently descending into ugly methods MI5 is more used to seeing in our terrorism casework. My teams are routinely uncovering attempts by state actors to commission surveillance, sabotage, arson or physical violence right here in the UK. We're dealing with these threats every day. We wish we weren't, but we're rising to the challenge. Anyone watching the news can see that Russia is committed to causing havoc and destruction. Our partners across Europe are dealing with it every day, from cyber attacks to sabotage. We stand with them, because the UK is no different. In the last year, we and the police have disrupted a steady stream of surveillance plots with hostile intent, aimed at individuals Russian leaders perceive as their enemies. And we're seeing Russia-based figures using online platforms in wider attempts, largely unsuccessful, to sow the seeds of violence, chaos and division here in the UK. Iran's autocratic regime is likewise frantically trying to silence its opponents around the world, including in the UK. 2025 has required us to grow our counter-Iran effort once again. MI5 has tracked more than 20 potentially lethal Iran-backed plots in just the 1 year since I last stood at this podium. So of course our preference always is to effect the most enduring disruption we can. When prosecutions and convictions happen, that's great. So yes, we are frustrated when those things don't happen. In fact, this is not unique. There are sometimes reasons why prosecutions don't work. But the key thing for us to do is to disrupt threats, and that's what we've done. The UK-China relationship is, by its nature, complex. But MI5's role is not. We detect and deal robustly with activity threatening UK national security. Whether that comes in the form of cyber espionage, as in the wide-ranging Salt Typhoon intrusions called out a few months ago, or clandestine technology transfer, as we tackle a steady stream of attempts to lure UK academic experts, or efforts to interfere covertly in UK public life, as in the case of Christine Lee and other well-publicised episodes where we've taken disruptive steps, or harassment and intimidation of opponents, as we saw when the Hong Kong police issued bounties against more than a dozen pro-democracy activists here in the UK. When it comes to China, the UK needs to defend itself resolutely against threats and seize the opportunities that demonstrably serve our nation. The bit that is MI5's job is, do we see actors acting on behalf of the Chinese state engaging in activity that threatens UK national security? Yes, of course. Every day in life. I've described that today, I've described it in previous years. That will continue to be true. It's a whole series of different vectors of national security activity that we deal with. Alongside that, of course, sits a different question, which is what should the overall balance of the UK's kind of nation-to-nation relationship with China be? That one is a matter for government.